Chapter 64, The Growl from the Corner. LeBron, that's a perfectly good explanation for that. Eventually, Mr. Parsley was going to have to stage a coup at the 1999 building with Mr. Dory and the Iron Monkeys there. How do you think he planned on making that coup without an army? Explained Nikki, seeming a bit too hopeful that she had come up with a good answer. Yeah, but then again, what are they still doing here in our territory? The financial district is pretty much on the other side of the island. Michael, did you really see them park in an alley? Asked LeBron nervously. Yes, they're there. They're there as we speak, replied Michael. Nikki, what the fuck have you brought on our heads? Demanded LeBron, looking as if he was about to charge at her. Hey, don't do that, thought Michael. Shut up, LeBron. I told you, bitch. Don't you fucking talk to me like that. LeBron then backhanded Nikki across the face and nearly sent her spinning like a top. As she crashed onto the floor, panting, her eyes boiled out and her face looked like it was about to fall into pieces. LeBron then grew hesitant and began resenting what he had done, but was then taken back from the sound of a dog growling from the other corner. And as he looked over, he saw Madboy and saw the color in his eyes as Madboy continued to growl some more. Ah, shit, said LeBron. Easy now, Michael. Don't be going old Rottweiler now. Look at where you're at. But his words of reasoning had come in way too late. It was the look and feel of violence, and violence were something precious. LeBron had set off Madboy's guard dog mode, his inner program to protect Nikki at all costs. And as Michael pounced onto LeBron, he began beating him within an inch of his life. Michael was on top of LeBron, beating his face in, as a few of the nymphos then caught wind that their leader was under attack. Stop, Michael, stop it! Cried out Nikki, but Madboy was already in full-on berserk mode and wasn't able to hear a thing. At this point, 3 nymphos ran into the room and began yelling at Michael to stop as well. But as Michael continued trashing away at LeBron's face, it became quite obvious to them Michael had crossed the line between friend and foe and had to be checked. James Hawley, whom Michael had earlier met at Stumpy's place, was the first one to jump in, grabbing Michael from the waist as he tried to peel him off LeBron, but wasn't able to, but was eventually able to get both of them up. As the second nympho lunged forward and finally managed to break LeBron free. Once LeBron was free, the third nympho ran in and kneed Madboy in the breadbasket, which knocked the wind out of him as Michael fell to one knee. LeBron, now free, started getting a hold of his breath while caressing his nose that felt like it was pumping out a pint of blood every second. Putting his hand over his face, it felt like shattered glass, all flimsy to the touch, and it pretty much was, as it cracked some more from barely even the slightest application of pressure. LeBron, what do you want us to do with him? Asked one of the nymphos. LeBron, soaring in pain, took one last hateful and bitter look at the man he thought he was cool with, and then said, fuck him. Barked it out through his bloody teeth. As the 3 men rushed in, Michael had had enough time to get his second wind, played it off as if he hadn't. Once the first nympho reached arm's length, Madboy then sprung into action. As the nympho tried to grab hold of him, Michael let out a surprise attack and socked him straight in the knee and almost had it bend in the opposite direction. The nympho wallowed in agony as Michael got up, got momentum on him, pushing him forward and drove him into the other nymphos. The 4 men then went flying out the door and crashed into each other in the hallway, also knocking down 2 bystanders that were in the way. Michael then hopped back onto his feet and tried to make it back into the room, but the towering inferno had now entered the scene, who then quickly grabbed a hold of him, lifted him up by his throat and slammed him hard up against the wall, practically leaving behind a cracked outline of Michael's predicament. The towering inferno had him pinned as LeBron approached to give his final word. Please stop, don't hurt him, cried out Nikki. But LeBron shoved her this time and had her trip over herself to the ground as he then turned his attention back onto Michael. Piece of shit. I should have never trusted you and this bitch of yours. But now I see this is the only way I'm going to have to deal with you both. Stop it, LeBron. Yes, stop it, Tower. Don't hurt him, cried out LaToya, this time after Nikki, who had also entered the scene. LaToya, don't you start now either. You don't know what the hell these two have brought on to us, responded LeBron, still trying to see if he could place his hand on his face without it painfully fracturing into several more pieces. Please, just don't decide to kill him, cried out LaToya. LeBron looked at LaToya and closed his eyes to reflect. He looked back at Michael and decided it wasn't worth it. Fine. Tower, get this loser out of my sight. And take his bitch with him, called out LeBron while shaking his head. What do you want me to do? Asked Tower. Just get them the fuck out of here. Throw them into the street before... Wait a second. What is that? LeBron saw a small device on the floor between Tower's feet, and it looked like it had fallen out of Michael's pocket. As LeBron bent down to pick it up, he saw a wire sticking out of it, attached to what looked like a mic. Is this what I think it is? Were you carrying a wire, Michael? Demanded LeBron as he shoved the gadget up towards Michael's face in display. They must have slipped that in my Leatherman jacket pocket when I wasn't paying attention, said Michael, shocked that he hadn't noticed it before. Ah, shit. They've been listening this entire time, haven't they? Cried out LeBron as his face tensed up with dread and panic. And it was about this time that a couple of shots were now being heard coming from down below. LeBron knew he had to get rid of Michael and Nikki before the oubliette mercs had decided to storm the place, but from the sound of the machine gun fire, it was now obvious that it was too late for that. Shit. Tower, throw this motherfucker and the lady out the window. Get them out of here now. Barked out LeBron in fear. Sorry, Michael, but it looks like you fucked up royally this time, said the towering Inferno. But Michael wasn't going to have any of it. With one quick thrust of his leg, Madboy kicked the towering Inferno in the crotch and fell immediately out of his grip. The tower was now pretty much predisposed of as he began lurching over in pain, unable to get back into action for the moment. And before anyone else could either, Madboy then lunged at LeBron again and sent him and himself flying through the air and back into LeBron's chamber. Nikki then also ran in as she then slammed the door shut, keeping anyone else from entering. Then Michael placed up a bar lock that was set on the side to keep it that way. As Michael turned back, he saw LeBron scourging through one of his drawers. Ah, shit. He's going for a piece. And surely enough, LeBron now had a Glock at hand. But before he was able to take aim, Madboy ran up and kicked it out of his hands. Ah, stop! Okay, stop! Cried out LeBron. You wanted to fucking kill me, LeBron? Bellowed out Michael. You brought this on yourself, you crazy motherfucker. Fucking cowardly pimp, I should have never trusted you. After all the fucking years you were going to, Michael. Need I remind you there's still a squad full of trigger-happy mercenaries making their way up here. Just go, get out of here, leave, cried out LeBron as he went back to massaging his nose. Next time I'll rip your fucking nose off and shove it up your ass if you even look at Nikki the wrong way again. Fucking pimp. Fucking Nick. For a second there, Michael wasn't sure where Nikki was, but then noticed she was standing near the door, trying to hold onto her composure. Gunfire could now be heard just outside the door, and the screaming of women and nymphos were now echoing throughout the building. Ah, shit. LaToya's out there, thought Michael, but felt like he couldn't risk opening the door to find out. LeBron, get out how? Demanded Michael. There's a fire exit near the window. Go, responded LeBron, shooing Michael with his hand. Nikki was already at the window, opening it up to get to it. Once she did, they both stepped outside to begin their escape. A loud thump was then heard coming from the barred-up door. On the railing, Nikki tried to head down, but Michael grabbed her hand and motioned her to go upwards. We can't go down that way. They'd be waiting for us on the street, explained Michael. Michael then saw the van on the street that he had been thrown out of not long ago, and then saw Mr. Parsley looking up at them as three of his men began taking aim. Mrs. Jackson, we're running out of time. Give us the codes and you can still get out of this alive, called out Mr. Parsley through a loudspeaker. Why are you doing this? I thought we had a deal, yelled out Nikki at the top of her lungs as her voice cracked up at the end. Like I said, Miss Jackson, we're running out of time, and you've wasted enough of ours as it is. The National Guardsmen will soon be here, and we need the codes now, explained Mr. Parsley. No, Nikki, don't tell them, cried out Michael, but not loud enough for Mr. Parsley to hear from the ground level. Nikki looked over at Michael and then discouragingly to one side, as if she was contemplating over the bleakness of her choices. Nikki, he's gonna try and kill us either way, explained Michael. No, he won't, gasped Nikki, unsure of herself. Well, if he doesn't, I know they will.